All right, parents and teachers, we are at the very last section of our episode today, where we're going to talk about the importance of parental support and advocacy. So in this section, I have about 6 tips that parents can do in order to support their children in case your child is labeled in school or even labeled by family members. Yeah, I've heard a lot of parents where they come and say that, oh, actually the situation started in school, but my mother-in-law or my brother-in-law made it even worse for him or for her, right? Very, very common stories that we've heard. Okay, so first, let's just recap. We understand that teachers' views and how they use labels can really impact the children's mental health, social impact. There's so many impacts, right? We already talked about that. But what we need to look at now, how, if even these things happen, parents can act as a safeguard. Parents ni boleh jadi macam benteng pertahanan. Okay, ni bagi parents yang rasa macam dia boleh buat lah, dia boleh buat sendiri. Of course, kalau parents rasa macam saya memang sangat sibuk, I don't think I can be this pillar of support for my children. I just need a completely, better environment for my kid. And then yes, you can explore a completely different environment. Maybe you want to look at Past Excel, maybe you want to look at something that would actually help your child, right? But let's say these are for parents who don't think they can do it. So they don't think they want to change the environment, but they want to act as benteng pertahanan. Of course, the best would be that you give them a better environment and act as the defense, right? So that they become even better. Now, how can we do this, right? So that we make sure that these labels don't shape the whole school experience of the child. Okay, first, paling penting lah, get a full understanding. Remember early on, I said in the beginning of the episode, when parents come to us and then they say that, oh, my child is a slow learner, the first question I ask is, did you get this from a clinical psychologist or a certified doctor, right? So what we're trying to say is, when you say your child has something, go deep, go really deep. Understand what is the attributes, characteristics, what is the triggers, like you have a full picture so that you know whether the teacher is being truthful or the teacher is just labeling in order to make their life easy, right? So that's very important. Now, after that, what you want to do is you want to talk about it openly. So let's say the teacher labels your child lazy. The teacher says your child is not hardworking. Your child is stupid, whatever. Oh, dia sebenarnya okay, tapi tak boleh pay attention. Ni lagi, oh my god, this one lagi selalu. Oh, your child is okay. This is what they say. It's in the teachers always say during parent-teacher meeting. Anak awak ni okay, dia bersopan santun, tapi dia memang tak boleh pay attention lah. They cannot pay attention in class, always distracted. So I always ask the parent, when they watch Netflix, are they distracted? Like, are they like, oh, when they're watching Netflix, they suddenly say that I want to clean the house. Let me give the brother a bath or the cat a bath. No, right? When they watch Netflix, they are there, their eyes popping out of their socket, they're not moving anywhere, right? So if that's the case, then your child doesn't have an attention deficit disorder, or your child doesn't have an attention problem. Your child most likely is not being taught by the right educator, not being taught in the right method. So bila dia cakap macam ni, the thing that you want to do as parents is, you cakap lah, oh, cikgu cakap macam ni, tapi kan saya tengok kat rumah awak rajin betul main game. Bila awak main game, tak adalah malas. Awak okay je tengok. Like bila nak cakap orang tu malas, dia bukan malas across the board kan. Awak rajin main game, solat tak tinggal, rajin je saya tengok. Lepas tu, some parents have told this lah, dia kata solat semua dia okay cikgu, dia puasa tak tinggal, dia memang jaga adik bagus, kalau nak tolong saya dekat rumah pun semua bagus. So maksudnya budak tu rajin lah, right? So you want to talk openly so that you can reframe at home. You want to make sure they see themselves as a completely different person. They see themselves, oh, actually, I am a hardworking and I am an organized and neat and good person. It's just that I am not hardworking maybe in this subject. So this is what parents can do. This is what it means by supporting your child. Okay, the next thing that you want to do is you want to support what they are good at, right? Okay, example. Remember the boy that I told you he has dyslexia? He is really good at basketball. he's really good at basketball. So what the father does is every single morning before he starts classes at Pass Excel, because classes at Pass Excel starts a bit late. It starts at 9:30. So every morning the father will wake the boys up, wake this boy up and bring him to play basketball. They will go play basketball. So you focus and support on what the child is good at so that they don't feel like they're a total disaster. Everything about them is bad. So they know they're good at something. So you continue supporting what they're good at. So they feel more confident. And with that boy, once we started all this visual learning, he became even more confident. He felt like, okay, I can actually do a lot better, right? Now, the next thing that is very important is that hopefully you have a school like Pass Excel where you can collaborate on educational plans. So whatever we do here at school, right, we usually send emails to the parents. So what we do is when we have the one-to-one, we say, this is what we worked on, and this is what the improvement, and this is what extra work that has been given. So the parents always know what is the child's unique needs and abilities, and they know how to give the right support at home. So for example, when we say that, okay, I think the child needs to learn, read more of a certain particular book, we will make the book recommendation. So at least the parent can monitor that at home. So kita tak bagilah statement-statement macam ni. Saya rasa anak puan patut fokus lebih lah. Saya rasa anak puan patut bekerja keras lah. I think you should work harder. I think your child needs to do a lot more practice questions. Whenever I hear these statements from parents from other schools, right, I'm just wondering, I'm not paying this much money for you to say these things to me, you know. What do you mean by do more practice questions? There is literally hundreds of questions available. Which topic? Which subtopic? How many questions? How often? Why do you give such generic statements? What use is that even in the report card? Right? So here, that's why we collaborate with parents. So we tell them exactly, okay, this is the thing that's holding them back. This is what we want to work on first. This is what we want to work on next. So as parents, you want to develop this collaboration with schools, right? With the school that you are at. Right. The next one is you want to build a positive home learning environment. So I know this one parent because when we mentioned to her that the boys need to read more, she had both boys here, this is another parent, both boys were here. So we said both boys are lacking in their vocab is not good, and we made a certain recommendation because we also noticed that they have negative self-talk, and because the teachers will notice all these things, you know, I think one of the boys had negative self-talk, the other one was not very resilient, right? So we made psychological self-help books recommended to cater to that particular thing. But how did the mom take this? The mom actually enforced a reading rule. So she puts a whiteboard, she writes how many pages she has read today. Then the father writes how many pages he has read today from his own book, and the children all need to read. And there is a point in the day where the mom turns off Wi-Fi if necessary to make sure they all have a reading time. So this is what you can do to build a positive home learning environment. So you want to make sure that this environment is available so the child knows that they can be free of the labels that has been put on them, right? They feel safe to express themselves. They feel safe to talk to you. So this is what you can do. That's the next thing, right? The last one is that you can teach resilience and self-advocacy. So you can teach your child that when somebody labels them, it's generally more about the person labeling and than themselves, right? So you teach them how to speak up, like we've covered in the previous episode. If you haven't, please go watch that episode. And you know how they can express their thoughts and needs more confidently without hurting anybody's feelings, both in schools and at other settings, right? So you practice a lot at home so that when they go to school, it becomes more natural. Now, I hope you've gotten enough because we've covered about 6 tips, very, very possible for you to do at home. Now, I just want to leave you with one story right at the end of this episode. I've once had this student, the mom told me this. I think we would play the video maybe after this episode, or you could go to YouTube, check it out yourself. The mom said this, he had, before he came in, he went to another school. The teacher wrote these things on the whiteboard. Imagine in front of the whole class, teacher wrote these 2 words very, very big because the boy couldn't answer a mathematical question. He wrote skills, then he wrote knowledge. Then he said, I have both of this, which is why I am paid so highly. You have neither of this. You are lazy, stupid, and good for nothing. He said that in front of the whole class to this boy. And when the mom called, because the mom is also a teacher, so the mom didn't want to call and straight away like bamboozle him, or straight away cakap, macam mana kau boleh cakap anak aku macam ni apa semua. She just went and asked him, oh, what actually happened in class? So the teacher said, no, I use this because I did this so that he will become better, so that he knows where he is standing. Or if my students do things badly, I use the cane, I use the ruler, I make them write things 100 times. I make them write the same lines 100 times and whatever not. Now, again, I would like you to ponder upon the first question that I asked at the beginning of the session. When we are doing something, are we making this child more resilient, or are we just breaking them apart? So whenever you choose to label someone, or even most importantly, your kids, because they still have not developed that skill set of saying like, okay, you're just crazy, And if somebody else is labeling your kid, especially teachers at school, you want to share this with them so that they don't do it anymore, right? I hope this has been a very beneficial session for you. And if you have any questions, please comment down below, or drop us a message and one of my teammates will get back to you. Thank you so much for watching. See you in the next one.